So one of the things that we can do to really spruce up your design on your magazine cover, as well as a lot of other types of items, is to use what are known as mock-ups. There's a website called Mockup World that I really like. When you come in here, the way that this is set up is it utilizes Photoshop using smart objects, which I'll get into in a minute, and it will automatically place the items in perspective on any of these kinds of things. So let me show you an example. So what you can do is you can come in here. I'm just going to type in magazine cover. And it has a wide variety of different ones that are set up. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to actually set this up once you pull it into the mock-up. You can see, looks like there's 3D, looks like it's on a table, looks like it's open, looks like it's stacked on top of quite a few others. So this is just one site that you can use. I'll end up showing you another site later. And we may end up using this for when we set up your business cards. You set this up, you can see having them stacked. You'll place it once, and it'll automatically feed through all of the other versions that you have like that. So let's start with this. I downloaded this particular mock-up. So you'll notice the way that it's set up over here in Photoshop is this little symbol right here is indicating that that is a smart object. Now, each person that developed these mockups may have a different setup, so you're going to have to kind of dig around a little bit to figure out what's going on. But sometimes you can start with just turning these off, and you can see this is the way that the basic structure is set up. Now, you're not going to have to actually do any masking on this at all. Right here, it looks like they're adding some color effects, which you can experiment with. There's a little hue and saturation. The thing that's nice with the hue and saturation is so you can drag all those across, depending on what's going to look best for your particular magazine. But close out of that stuff here. Stop, go away. Let me get my layers to show back up. There we go. And let me hide the properties. All right. So the first thing is what I want to do is you'll notice the way that each one of these layers is set up is somebody has already gone through and masked them off. You can see this is just adding in some color and stuff that's on there. So I'm going to turn all these back on. But here's the deal. I'm going to double click on the symbol of this smart object. What that's going to do is it's going to bring me over to this flat area. It's a PSB, which is a Photoshop smart object. I'm going to come over to the JPEG version of the magazine cover. So I'm just using this one as an example. I'm going to copy it. So I just did Control A or Command A, Control C or Command C, and I'm going to do Control V as in Victor. Now, it looks like this particular layout was slightly different in size. So that may end up happening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transform. And yeah, it's a little bit taller. So it looks like this was in millimeters. So this was probably British. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, since it's not too much of a difference, I'm going to go ahead and distort this slightly. So I'm going to hold down my Shift key. I'm just going to stretch that down, and I'm going to double click so it doesn't look too off. And I can actually delete the background layer. And now you'll notice there's an asterisk here. That just means that it hasn't been saved yet. So I'm going to press Command S to save. I'm going to close it. And it magically put the whole thing in. So it automatically went in and changed this. So just to show you what a smart object does, again, if I double click on it, it brings me here. If for whatever reason I decided, oh, it's not bright enough and I wanted to do an adjustment on this, or I wanted to change the color, I wouldn't, but just to really show you a dramatic difference, hue and saturation. Oh, gosh, that's hideous. But I will save it. And now it automatically applied that image all the way down. So smart objects are amazing. I really love these things. And if you want to edit them, you just double click on it again. It brings it back here. I can turn that off, save it, come back over here, and it's automatically updated. Super slick, super sweet, a really nice way to see what would it look like in the real world. And when you go back and you look at any of these other things, you can see there's mock-ups for almost anything. I can go, okay, I want to look at packaging. So you would place the item and it would automatically feed across this three-dimensional piece. Doing posters. Oh, it's because I've got the word magazine. That's why it's not showing up. I was like, why the heck is it not doing it? I'm going to browse free, cosmetics, food, your iPad, posters, billboards, vehicles. I can set this up so it does a mock-up and actually applies right across on top of there. So really interesting stuff. Some things you may want to consider checking out and using that to help spruce up your overall portfolio.